All right, so now probably the most interesting division. We can still keep hurdling through, but we're gonna hit the Rams first. We're going to the NFC West.
Should we just let's get the Seahawks out of the way? Can we just
get the Seahawks? Okay, but do them fast.
Yeah, let's get rid of them. Okay. I don't want the Seahawks.
Let's cross the Seahawks off our board so we can actually get excited about some teams.
So do you have written down
what percent chance do you think the Seahawks finish last in this division?
100%. There's literally no way.
That's also the number that I would have come up with.
There is not a world that they do not finish. Like even if everybody got hurt on every other team, somehow the Seahawks.
I agree.
There's no way. So Drew Lock, Geno Smith are battling it out. They've already said they're probably not going to trade for Garoppolo. They're clearly tanking and I think that's, honestly, smart. Like this is a good quarterback class coming in. They didn't have a guy in this class they liked, and they're not going to go get Garoppolo to like win 5 games and ruin their shot, the number 1 pick. Like they're clearly trying to suck. And guess what? Mission's going to be accomplished. It's going to be horrible.
Well done.
Minus 66 league average, 53% rush, 47% pass. I statted it out. Like I looked at Geno Smith's starts. He threw it less than 19 times in 2 of the 3. Like it's bad. It's gross. And that has me really worried for Metcalf and Lockett. I know, I have talk about small pies and what that does. You tell me a receiver is going to see 25% target share. You're foaming at the mouth. 115 targets from Drew Lock and Geno Smith is the equivalent of wiping my ass. Like it's nothing.
You got DK around like 30, 31 on your boards. And it's like, how much I love DK. And I'm like, yep, that sounds about right.
Right. And I feel like 9 touchdowns is generous from these guys. Like,
oh yeah. I think it maybe is a little high.
So he did score every game with Geno Smith. So that's like one thing to keep in mind is
he's DK.
Every now and again, a guy like DK, the quarterback just locks in on him because it's a 6'3" monster that can make contested grabs, can do the damage. Like, so there is a world where it's not necessarily.
Is he only 6'3"? He looks like he's like 6'8".
Exactly. He's like Babytron, Megatron Part 2, like just a monster. So there is a world like we saw last year. He did score more points in games with Geno Smith than he did with Russell Wilson. I would never in a million years say I wish Russell Wilson was gone so Geno Smith could be throwing him the rock. But there is that occasionally they'll just find their guy, lock in, and they end up actually being better or like at least okay. Like their value's not killed. So I kind of tried to like factor that scenario in here with the 9 touchdowns with the 900 yards. And even still, like you said, that's only good for wide receiver 30. I have Russell Gage coming out higher. Give me the number 2 and 3 of the Bucks than the number 1 of here. Lockett did actually end up seeing a lot of targets from Geno Smith as well, but they were very rarely completed. And I am very worried that
the completion's really the key. You really want that pass to be completed in fantasy.
Exactly. Their chemistry was so on point. So I guess the only real thing that one, I'm just really down on both receivers. Maybe one of them ends up really surprising and connecting with the quarterback, but at their prices, I'm not getting in on them. I was doing pay for a lot, and then I stopped drafting.
Come on, stop that.
Yeah, he goes way too early.
You do have their running backs basically having identical stats.
Yeah, and so that's the one thing that is interesting here is they've even with Russell Wilson there, they've always hovered around a 50-50 run pass. That's why I think it shifts to, even more run than pass. And that's going to create a big ground pie for, a running game that has been pretty productive the last few years, whether it was Carson and again with Russell Wilson threatening defenses, getting those deep balls. Who knows how stacked boxes are going to be and if we're going to see, 4 or 5 and 4 or 3 yards a clip. Maybe not. I do really like Walker as a player. Rashaad Penny was also the running back 1, the fantasy playoffs, kind of like the Amon-Ra St. Brown of the running back position. But he always gets hurt, as explosive as he could be, as league-winning upside as he's shown. I like Penny. I like them both actually at their price. They both go like around 9-10, and at that point, like an offense that's going to run it at the clip they're going to run it with 2 guys that are pretty talented. I actually can get into that running game at that price. Other than that, though, I don't want nothing to do with the passing game. But I am mildly intrigued with both running backs for sure. I think Walker in particular could end up being a touchdown beast. This all also hinges on Carson. As you can see, I have 0-0-0. Like that hinges
I think that's what his stat line is going to be.
Probably going to be what happens. So yeah, I'm not counting on Carson playing this year. So if another running back does emerge and now it's a 3-headed nightmare, then I want nothing to do with it. But if it's that size of a ground pie to 2 pretty talented mouths and they're going in around 9-10, I can take stabs there. That's really it.
Are you surprised Pete Carroll's still coaching this team?
Yeah, he deserved to be fired.
Me too. And I'm also surprised he's sticking around during an obvious tanking thing.
Yeah.
He's a pedigree and he's at an age where I'm just like, I'm surprised he wants to be a part of that.
He can chew gum with the best of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see somebody like, a great coach like in the NBA, like Greg Popovich, who's like old and his team's nowhere near as good as they used to be. But like he's not tanking. Like they're still playing, or they finished like 9th or something out of 15. Right. Like they're trying to make that last playoff spot. It's like this is a pure tank situation.
Pure tank. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments. Check out some more videos and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.